Hey, what's up guys? I don't want the title of this video to sound pessimistic, because I'm definitely optimistic for Season 5, but I'm just saying it's going to be having trouble meeting the huge expectations I think people are starting to set on it. Like, I don't think it's realistic to expect every Halo Infinite season to be as good as Season 4. Now, in terms of like actual quality, I think it's possible. In terms of quantity, I don't know. For reference, Season 4 by far had the most maps and stuff added, and yeah, you can say a lot of those weren't made by 343, so they can just put a lot of those back in the upcoming seasons when people make more Forge maps, which they inevitably will. And I definitely agree with that. There's no reason they shouldn't keep adding to the squad battle playlist. They shouldn't keep adding maps to the new Husky Raid playlist they just added. But the amount of like sheer game modes, I don't think they're going to be able to match that in the future, especially like high quality game modes. Now, obviously Infection came out in Season 4, we got Husky Raid in Season 4, we got Squad Battle in Season 4, which arguably, according to a lot of people out there, is probably the best thing they added in Season 4. Although I myself really like Infection, and Husky Raid isn't bad either, I do kind of see how Squad Battle definitely just is a lot more fun than some of the other Infinite game modes, like Big Team Battle. Like, the vehicles play very well in that compared to Big Team Battle. And I normally like Halo Infinite Big Team Battle, but I can see a major like increase in like the quality of like gameplay, especially with vehicles, because the old Halo maps with more open vehicle lanes. But yeah, some people are starting to speculate that Season 5 might see the release of Firefight, or something like it at least. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I think Season 5 can still be a good season, even if they don't drop that then. Can it be as good as Season 4 if they don't drop it? Probably not. So ultimately, to maintain the hype, they probably need to drop Firefight in Season 5, or at least talk about it more in Season 5, at the very least. But yeah, there's just not a whole lot of game modes they could add. Now obviously, if they dropped Firefight and they dropped forgeable enemies in Season 5 as well, I think that would be great. That would definitely make it have a ton of content, and then also drop more Squad Battle, more Husky Raid. I don't know why they got rid of the Community Collection, the 4v4 Forge map playlist. I thought it was really fun. I mean, I think it's rotational now. They brought Community Doubles back this week, so I'd imagine it's rotational now. But if they're going to have Squad Battle permanently, why not just have the 4v4s permanently? I don't see a problem with having like all those game modes available at once. Now, I do understand with like wackier game modes to make them rotational, like MCC has, and I think that's fine and that's cool. But just like if we had just more game modes in general on the main page, that would be permanent game modes. That'd be nice. Now, obviously, at some point, it'd be nice to maybe get like Griffball supported in an official game mode. I'm pretty sure there's already been stuff similar to it made in Infinite's Forge and in custom game browsers. Speaking of custom games, this season have been kind of crazy with the introduction of that Call of Duty Zombies remake in Halo Infinite Forge. It was pretty cool. I've played it a few times, but the customs browser is like, it still has a ton of people on it, but it's definitely started to see some shrinkage compared to when it first dropped, which I think is natural. And it still has tons of players on it. You can still find full lobbies and really cool creations. But I think part of that might just be because the official supported game modes are actually getting better now, which is a very good thing, in my opinion. Obviously, to get the game where we get large numbers of players back is going to take some very drastic things, not just making another season as good as season 4. It's going to take more than just multiplayer fixes, and that's primarily what 343 has focused on. And I'd say that right now, if they added nothing else, the game would be in a better spot than it was at launch for sure. That's not even arguable at this point, I don't think. But it would be better than, in terms of quality and amounts of content, better than most modern games, I'd argue. But yeah, there's definitely stuff they could still add to the multiplayer, but at this point I think they just need to focus on smaller quality of life things and some non-smaller things that have been complained about since launch, like lack of split screen co-op. Although with the argument about Baldur's Gate 3 not having split screen on Series S, I wonder if it was due to some sort of hardware parity problem that they didn't have split screen in Halo Infinite. Like, especially because Halo Infinite is still supported on 2014 Xbox Ones, which is kind of ridiculous considering it's supposed to be like a next-gen game. I mean, obviously it's nice that more players are able to play it. Halo Infinite arguably had the potential, no matter what viewpoint you take, had or has the most potential to have the most players out of any Halo game, simply because it is on so many devices compared to other ones. Like Halo 5, you still cannot play it on PC, but Infinite, it launched simultaneously, same day. You could get it on both, which is great because I play it on PC, but I also play it on Xbox occasionally. And I mean, my PC doesn't actually even run the game that much better than my Series S, but I mean, it's still nice to play it on there just because I've gotten used to keyboard and mouse recently. But yeah, it's just they need to find a way to bring back those PC players, those Xbox players that downloaded it because it's free and then just gave up because they realized other stuff was dropping. And I'd imagine a lot of the problem was definitely on Microsoft's part. I mean, probably poor management at 343 definitely was part of it, because we've started to see, obviously since Season 3, even Winter Update, massive positive changes to the game, which again are undeniable, like even if you are mad at the game at this point, which I honestly think is kind of ridiculous. I mean, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but it seems so nitpicky, honestly, to hate the game more than you like it at this point. Like, to be mad about it at the state it was at in launch and still like hold a grudge like that, like you just need to be willing to like if you don't want to play it again, that's fine, but you can't like try to ruin other people's experience now that it's actually in a better spot. There's a bunch of people that was doing that and earlier on in Halo Infinite, and now a lot of those people have switched back to being positive about the game. And I think that's probably part of the reason why a lot of the player base left, was the sheer toxicity of YouTube and other streamers and stuff like that. They were just hating on the game because it was easy views, easy monetization, and now they're bulking back up the game. They're saying it's so great and all this because it's easy views. Like, even people that were super negative about the game are now coming back and being like, oh nah, I was just kidding, please like this video, I don't want free money, it's an alright game, blah blah blah. But yeah, like, there's obviously still problems, and I can definitely respect your opinion if there's things you're mad at in the game, like when they promised split screen and campaign and then didn't deliver on that. That's okay to be mad at that. But to say the whole game is garbage because of one missing feature seems a little bit nitpicky, in my opinion. I mean, of course, everyone's entitled to their own. I don't want to sound like a bigot or something. I think that's a word. I'll put it up on screen if it is. But yeah, I just the monetization, if you're complaining about that, honestly, it's gotten so much better recently. I mean, I personally don't get anything off of the store. I'm free to play in this game except for the campaign. But, I mean, you really can't complain about that too much because that's 343 is like one of their main monetization methods on this game. Because I'd say that maybe 75% of players have campaign. I feel like that's a little bit generous. Maybe not even that many. And the campaign is good, don't get me wrong, but I personally got it on sale because it's cheap. And it's good, but yeah, I would probably try to get it on sale, especially until they like drop some DLC for it or something. It's really good in my opinion. Obviously way better than Halo 5. I don't even know if that's deniable. Yeah. And if you're mad about like all the canceled stuff that was gonna be in Halo Infinite's campaign, I can respect that opinion as well. But again, to just weigh that so heavily that none of the positive stuff matters to you, that just seems like you're being nitpicky to me, at least. I mean, again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but yeah, that's just my personal opinion. Because there's stuff in this game that I don't appreciate. Like, I mean, part of it is probably just because my internet is crap, but loading stuff on the main page can sometimes take ages, and I don't know if that's just my internet. Probably is, but I mean, I would like to see that fixed. But the game is still worth playing for me, even though there's something about it I don't like, and that's just something I don't understand. Some people are just unwilling to come back because they're holding a grudge and toxicity. Like, again, I can respect it if you don't want to come back, but don't ruin it for everyone else. Like, I play Ark Survival Evolved as well, and that game is in such a worse condition, especially if you kept up with any of the news on it. They're basically, the Wildcard, the company making it, and its parent company, Snail Games, are essentially being forced to make a remake of the original game for money because they're so broke. And the original game is relatively buggy. I still play it because it's fun. It might be filled with cheaters and stuff, but I still enjoy it from time to time. And its community is not nearly as toxic as Ark's is. I mean, as Halo's is. Which is crazy, because Halo Infinite is in such a better spot than that game is. And that game has been out for 8 years. I mean, yeah, obviously, Halo Infinite should have came out in this quality. But you can't, like, let that stop you from, like, being like, oh, well, now it's doing good. Like, you can't just be like, oh, it came out bad, so it'll always be bad. Like, that, in my opinion, is kind of a lame opinion. I mean, again, that's my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. I mean, there's obviously still stuff wrong with the game, but it's so much better. And like I said, like, the community is just being super toxic is part of the problem. Like, obviously, there's stuff, they have some valid points, but I don't see anyone in the Ark community going like, oh my goodness, I'm never going to play this game again because my base was destroyed by hackers. Like, yeah, there's people in the community complaining about hackers, but that's actually a reasonable complaint, and they aren't like saying this game is garbage because of the hackers. They're just like, it would be nice if they got removed from the game. It would be nice if they fixed meshing, if they fixed so many other things that need fixing in that game. And people bring those issues up, but they don't just like say, oh, don't play the game, it's not worth playing because of this and this. Or at least not to the same extent that I've seen in Halo. It's absolutely crazy. Some people can play absolutely atrocious games, in terms of quality I'm saying, and still not hate on it as much as Halo Infinite hated on. I just think it's unfair the amount of hate that Halo Infinite has received. Partially, like I said, just because it was easy views on YouTube for a while. It was easy money. Because that was the state the community was in. They were happy to just hate on the game that they loved at launch. But I mean, obviously the lack of content early on was a problem, but only so much of that was actually 343's fault. and I don't think it's fair to get mad at the game, and specifically the developers. It could have been on Microsoft, could have been on so many other factors. It could have been poor leadership. Again, there's games that are in so much worse states that have received less hate than Halo Infinite has, and that just boggles my mind. I'm sure you can think of an example besides Arc that I mentioned. I mean, it's just like so crazy because a lot of that fan base is going to move to this cheap remake they're doing as a money grab just because they like the IP that much. And obviously, there's people who say, "Oh yeah, the Halo community does that too." They'll go on. They'll buy the next IP even though they know it's a cheap money grab. But the difference is Halo Infinite has actually landed in a spot that I feel like is probably the closest to any of the Bungie Halo games that any of 343s have gotten. I'm not saying Halo 5 multiplayer was bad, but it, as one review on the Microsoft Store said, it was being held back by the fact that it was trying to be Halo and not Halo at the same time. Whereas Halo Infinite feels like old Halo. I mean, yeah, it has sprinting, but I feel like at this point, sprinting is such a common feature in FPS games that most people do not want to see that removed, or frankly do not care either way. There's probably a small faction of players who are like, oh yeah, I like low movement shooters, blah 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 blah. But I think Halo has chosen to go in the right direction. It's innovated to survive, and without losing, Infinite has not lost its original base. That's part of the problem of Halo 4 and 5. They tried to innovate too far to where they lost their original, like, cool to them. I mean, and that didn't stop Halo 5 from being a very large multiplayer game, but it definitely brought about some negativity and stuff. But yeah, I think Halo Infinite has the potential to be the best modern Halo game. And I mean, I don't know how disagreeable that statement really is, because I said the potential, not it is the best modern Halo game. Obviously it has problems, and I've brought that up several times in this video, and if you disagree, that's fine. Just word your comment carefully if you're going to comment on how you disagree, to be quite respectful of others' opinions. And yeah, thanks for watching my little rant on Season 5. I do hope it turns out well, but I don't know if they can pull that off. I hope they can, because that would be great if they could get Season 5 to be at least as good as 4, maybe better. That would be great actually, because Season 4 is, again, even if you dislike the game, it's hard to admit that Season 4 was not the best in terms of quality. I mean, is the best in terms of quality. You probably know what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you do. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, to be honest. Thanks for watching, and yeah, make sure to comment if you agree, disagree, like, dislike. If you disagree with my opinion, that's fine. I don't really care. I mean, again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Yeah, so thanks for watching.